go ahead and do that double take, because these Marvel stunt doubles are gonna have you seeing double. It's often said that the majority of work that goes into a movie is never seen by the audience. That's not always the case for stunt doubles though, and Marvel's done an incredible job finding stand-ins that look remarkably like the famous actors playing the role. Don't believe us? Fine, take a look for yourself. Consider this fact. Black Widow is perhaps the most stunt-heavy character in the MCU's entirety. She continually battles enemies in hand-to-hand combat, which requires a considerable amount of coordinating. The amount of prep work it takes to make her scenes is extraordinary. It makes the stunt double, Heidi Moneymaker, even more impressive. Scarlett Johansson was given a choice between two stunt people, and she went with Heidi Moneymaker. The two have worked together every film since, and honestly, the pairing works super well. Moneymaker manages to move just like Johansson, and the two of them look like they could be related. It makes us wonder how Marvel managed to match this pair together so early. They make quite a team, and that brings us to one final point. Unfortunately, this friendship will have to continue off-screen. Black Widow marks the last project these two did together in the Marvel Universe. Now, things could always change, but it's safe to say that Moneymaker and Johansson will be sorely missed. On the bright side, she helped coordinate one of the most impactful scenes in Endgame. It's an incredible legacy to leave for a fantastic film franchise. We know what you're thinking. It certainly seems like we're seeing double here. Don't worry, this isn't some Scarlet Witch mind trick, we promise. CC Ice just managed to find the perfect actor to double for, and we're genuinely rubbing our eyes to make sure this isn't an illusion. Also, before you say it, yes, we realize there's an Olsen twin reference just waiting on the wings here, but we like to think that we're better than that here at ScreenRant. Moving on, it's often argued that Scarlet Witch doesn't even need a stunt person for the role, given her lack of real, tangible action sets. Okay, sure, she doesn't always end up punching evil villains in the face, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have stunts to perform. What do you think flying is in movies? Every wire scene needs a stunt double to coordinate the movement first, and that is risky. Without her, Elizabeth Olsen is doing untested work. Obviously, Olsen knows this, and it might help explain their tight relationship on set. When the two of them are working together, it's said the whole crew feels a bit lighter and relaxed. It's high praise for this duo. We just hope that holds true for WandaVision. Whether you noticed or not, James Young has shaped and impacted every aspect of Marvel in its present form. Also, he looks quite a bit like Sebastian Stan. The second part of the statement is pure destiny. Young is quite the name in the stunt performance field, and casting Sebastian Stan for the role of Bucky Barnes gave him the perfect opportunity to double. Stan's character, the Winter Soldier, changed the MCU narrative and helped elevate the through line to a new level. Still, behind the scenes, Young was also changing the game. Have you ever looked back at the first MCU movies' action sets and compared them to now? Well, you have Young to thank for those massive improvements, generally speaking. James Young has been the stunt director for most Marvel films in the last couple of years. It's no longer shocking to see Bucky Barnes dish out an impressive fight or watch Captain America perform incredible feats. All of it is helped along by James Young. It's remarkable that he also happens to resemble Sebastian Stan in so many ways, and fans should feel lucky that that's the case. It's just part of what makes the MCU work so well. We want to make a few things clear right off the bat regarding Black Panther and his MCU role. His standalone film will go down as one of the greatest action movies in modern filmmaking for starters. The characters move and interact with each other in ways we've never seen before. They move fluidly with the camera in choreography you can't help but appreciate. We'd also be remiss if we didn't bring up the impact of Chadwick Boseman and his legacy as Black Panther. He may be gone, but this role will continue to leave a mark on generations to come. We're thankful viewers were able to see him in this role to begin with. Partnering with Boseman was Daniel Graham, one of the most prominent and upcoming stuntmen in the industry. Thank goodness he can pass as Chadwick Boseman enough to make this tandem happen. Graham is known for his unique tricking and stunt work, and that style heavily influenced the way Black Panther was shot and staged. It's incredible to think one stunt double can have that much impact on a film. That's just what he brings to the table, though. Honestly, it's a real tragedy that we'll never be able to see these two work hand in hand again. Imagine being given the task of finding a suitable stunt double for Cate Blanchett. She's one of the most remarkable actors working today and already cemented a legacy of incredible performances. It must have felt like a daunting task for the casting director. Yet somehow they managed to nab the stunt industry equivalent to Cate Blanchett when they secured Zoe Bell for production. What's even more impressive is that Bell doesn't just do a fantastic job as a stunt performer. She's also a doppelganger of Blanchett. The eyes, the jawline, hairline, and even the nose all match up. Honestly, Marvel, how did you pull this one off? Zoe Bell is an icon in the industry, doing work on Kill Bill, Xena Warrior Princess, and Death Proof. Not to mention the fact that she's even a New Zealand local, which means she didn't need to be flown out for production. Talk about the stars aligning, and by stars we mean Kate and Zoe. The two worked in perfect rhythm for a demanding role. You never consider how many stunts a character does until you start trying to count them all. Hela as a character is always flying around the screen, performing all sorts of acrobatics. It was the perfect casting. Take a look at these two performers standing together in full makeup. Now, can you tell them apart? Sure, one of them is noticeably shorter, but who's the shorter one then? Yep, that's our point exactly. In the full Nebula look, Kelly Richardson and Karen Gillan might as well be twins. Granted, they do get a lot of help from practical effects here. Still, to top off the likeness, both women have terrific Scottish accents that you can't miss. We're not sure if Gillan demanded her double also be Scottish, but it certainly worked out, huh? We like to imagine the two of them sat around set talking like Willie from The Simpsons for hours on end. Okay, that definitely didn't happen, but it would certainly be a look. For those of you who think it's cheating to compare them in makeup, just look at the two of them without going full Nebula. There's still a lot of notable similarities. It's not like they're complete opposites. When we first saw the two of them as Nebula, we thought it might be a brief character that we'd only see once or twice. Now we can't wait to see how her role develops in the next phase. To preface what's about to be said, Anthony Mackie is incredible as Falcon, and he's more than worthy of taking on the role of Captain America. With that out of the way, we also need to note he's one of the few Marvel actors whose stunt double has more bulk than he does. No kidding, Aaron Toney is built in comparison to Mackie. It's okay though, the margin there is thin. Toney is actually an actor with a few minor roles outside of Marvel, and he's even been an extra in a few Marvel movies as well. It's essentially his side gig to be Mackie's stunt double. Well, he doesn't just double for Falcon, actually. He also performed stunts for Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger in Black Panther, showing the incredible range as a stunt person. Here's the real kicker. Toney and Mackie have a great relationship offset too, and it's quite the inside joke that the two of them look alike. In Seth Rogen's The Night Before, Toney was even cast to play Mackie's brother. Yeah, it's almost as if the two of them easily pull off the sibling roles despite not being related. Chris Evans is quickly growing into the role of most popular man in Hollywood. He's got that kind of look that's instantly recognizable. There's simply no way you can match his face and stature. Well, we agree with that fact, but Sam Hargrave certainly gives it his best shot. Honestly, when you put both of them in costume, it becomes hard to tell them both apart. Sure, Chris Evans is still Chris Evans, but the work by Hargrave isn't far off. The two of them have developed a real flourishing partnership by working together. For Evans, his fame continues to rise. In contrast, Hargrave's continues to gain more positions as a stunt coordinator and so much more. In fact, you likely recognize his name now for his directing and not just as a stunt double. Hargrave's directorial debut came in 2020 with the movie Extraction. The Russo brothers have a great working relationship with him after working on so many Captain America projects together. They wrote and produced his first feature film that starred another Marvel alum, Chris Hemsworth. We think it's safe to predict that a collaboration between Evans and Hargrave will be coming soon. May not seem like there were many stunts that Ruffalo needed to do as Bruce Banner and Hulk, but trust us, it's not easy putting the motion capture suit on and giving it your all. Just ask the cast of cats. Every actor can't be available 24/7 for their role, and that's where Anthony Molinari comes in. He didn't just perform stunts for Bruce Banner parts, he also acts as a motion stand-in for rehearsal time that doesn't require the main cast. Believe it or not, that's where a lot of the movie magic happens. Anyone who takes a look at Molinari's acting reel will need to do a double take. This dude looks eerily similar to Mark Ruffalo. So much so that it's kind of scary to watch for too long. Set photos of them next to each other doesn't help matters. To add to this, Molinari doesn't just perform stunts as a stand-in for Mark Ruffalo. He's worked as a double for some of the best handsome men in Hollywood. Jeremy Renner, Matt Damon, and even George freaking Clooney all used Molinari as a stunt performer. That has to be a real boost to his ego. Before you say it in the comments section, we want to get ahead of this one. Tom Holland performs almost all of his own stunts. He's well versed in gymnastics and keeps a rigorous training regimen. In fact, every director he's worked with in an MCU movie raves about his professional stunt work. He's the next Tom Cruise, and there is no doubt about it. So why does he have a stunt double? It goes back to what we mentioned with Anthony Molinari. Greg Townley will often rehearse the stunt first to help the stunt team coordinate the action sequence properly. They need to make sure everything will look correct and work right before tossing Holland into the harness. On top of this, Holland has insurance that prevents him from doing certain stunts to protect him. Sometimes Townley legally has to perform the feat. It works out in the end because Townley is nearly identical to Holland. Sure, the two don't wear their hair the same way, but they're built almost exactly the same and their jawline is nearly identical. They're so alike, you hardly notice when Tom isn't the one pulling off the unique moves it takes to be Spider-Man. Boy, this video really makes us reconsider a career in stunt performances if it means getting to work on Marvel films. Let us know in the comments below which stunt double you think looks the most identical. Hey, and don't forget to show your support by hitting like on this video and subscribing to keep up to date with all the latest from ScreenRant.